Alright, welcome to today's video. Today we will look at why your Google Ads are so damn inconsistent. So there are 6 big reasons. We will keep the biggest one for the end. Without further ado, let's dive straight into it. Reason number 1, quite a common one, typical rookie mistake, and it's just too many changes. So, and everybody falls into the trap, right? You always want to optimize everything, so you test a lot, you upload a lot of products, you tweak the titles, you tweak your offer, you tweak the pricing, you tweak the landing page, you change the ad settings, campaign settings, whatever. You constantly try to optimize and improve, right? And it's just natural and rightfully so. You always have to try to improve, but with the ads and the algorithm, it's also a patience and consistency game. So sometimes you have to give it some time, let it develop, let it run for quite some time and observe the data, right? If you constantly tweak and you constantly change something, the algorithm and the campaign can never fully properly learn, and therefore obviously results are inconsistent, right? So typical mistake, too many changes. Mistake number 2, it's quite similar. It's when you have too many campaigns, the structure just split up too much, So what does that mean? Especially when you have small budgets in the beginning, whatever it is, 50, 100, 200 euros a day, it's not that much. When you start with little budgets and you're still in the learning phase, you're still testing, and you have a lot of different campaigns, like campaign for your high performers, campaign for your low performers, campaign for your zombie products, campaign for your new products, campaign for your products with high profit margin, And it makes sense, the structure makes sense in your head, right? And it does. But it's also a thing of consolidation, right? If you take all of that and you put it in one big campaign at first, the algorithm can learn easier. That's why we don't overcomplicate things in the beginning. And it goes hand in hand with the first mistake, right? You make too many changes, you try to split it up, over-optimize things. But in the end, your structure that makes so much sense and all these optimizations come back later and they actually hurt your performance, right? So you want to consolidate, you want to keep it simple. All the data goes into one campaign, which speeds up the learning process, which means you can scale quicker, and therefore also more data, more and more data is coming in, and the consistency of the campaign will be better as well down the line. All right, mistake number 3 that can lead to your ads being quite inconsistent is if you don't have enough winners. Basically, if you're reliant on one very strong product, right, on your hero product, whatever it is. So if you don't have enough winners, or you're reliant on hero SQ, whatever it is. But of course that can lead to inconsistencies, because if you have a huge product catalog, whatever it is, whatever niche you're in, even if it's a smaller product catalog, but you just have this really strong product and the rest doesn't really perform that well, even if you have some of the other products that perform decently well, right? Obviously, if you have a very strong product and you're quite reliant on that, if that product doesn't sell that well on the day for whatever reason, if there's less demand, you will have performance fluctuations tied to this product, right? If that product is out of stock, for example, classic example, right? Of course, you will have strong performance fluctuations. So the more winners you have, the more products you have that sell well, the better it will be for the consistency. Because if you're not reliant on just one product, right, then of course the performance is better. It's like imagine you have different income flows, right? If you get income from stocks, if you get income from a business, if you get income from properties, if you own forests and you sell timber and you have capital appreciation here as well. If you have all these different income flows and just one of them falls away, it will not hurt you that much, right? But let's say 90% of your income comes from this one restaurant that you own, and then we have lockdowns again or something like that, you're more vulnerable, right? And it's the same with Google Ads, basically. You get it. If you just have one very strong product, whatever happens to the product, if there's shifts in demands, if it's out of stock, if there's a competitor coming in, of course that will affect your performance more than if you have a couple of products that perform decently well and the risk is more diversified, right? Makes sense. Then reason number 4 or mistake number 4 is offer volatility. And what that means basically is if your offer is not fully optimized and if it's not perfect yet, let's say your AOV has potential, right? Conversion rate not that best, or I mean kind of like mediocre, both of that, right? If that's the case and it's not properly optimized, your profit margin is quite low, for example, like little differences already hurt you quite a bit, right? On one day you're profitable, on the next not, then you have a slight spike in CPC because of whatever, Black Friday, right? More competitors coming into the market, CPC increases, and because your offer is not perfect yet, not super attractive yet, you have a lot more volatility. So AOV changes quite a bit up and down, right? Same with conversion rate because it's not fully optimized, not fully consistent yet. Changes in CPC, right? Cost of traffic increases, and that leads to more fluctuations with your performance, with your results, with your ROAS, with your profit, whatever you want. All right, mistake number 5 or reason number 5 why your ads can be inconsistent, and we quickly touch base on that already, but it's basically demand shifts or seasonality for certain niches, depends. For example, seasonality. All right, for example, I have a lot of clients in the fashion niche and it's highly seasonal, right? So right now, today, what do we have? The 23rd of October. So we're slowly moving towards winter, right? It gets colder. So all the great winners from summer, like the nice summer dresses that we sold and the skirts and whatever, and like whatever it is, like doesn't sell now anymore, right? Just because of the shift in demand, of the shift in seasonality. And especially in this in-between season shifts, you will see a lot of performance fluctuations, of course. Like it cannot stay the same, right? Like how can it stay the same if the demand shifts that much? And there are other little factors that we often overlook. So for example, I have another client in the German market. It's also a fashion store, but there, for example, in Germany right now you have autumn holidays, right? So a lot of people take time off, they're not at home, they go on a mini vacation with the kids, with the family, whatever. They spend time outside, especially because the weather is great as well. So obviously during the time as well, and it's also like middle of the month, right? It was like last week, this week a little bit. We had Amazon Prime Days as well, for example. But yeah, all those little things, bigger things, whatever it is, lead to demand shifts in performance, inconsistency in performance that are also completely out of your control. And that's normal, right? You just have to navigate. You have to think ahead, all right, like this is coming up, that is coming up. We have to expect this and that. So you stay in charge, you stay in control. That's the main thing. All right, finally, last but not least, by far the biggest mistake or the biggest reason why your ads are inconsistent, and let's take another color for that, is you just simply don't have enough data. And what do we mean by that? So if you have smaller budgets yet, let's say for BMX, for shopping campaign, anything from 10 euros a day to 350 euros a day, that's where you slowly get some consistency, right? Like if you go beyond it. But that's relatively small budgets, and think about it. If you just get, let's say, 4 to 5 sales a day, right? If that's your average, even if you have a good ROAS on that, even if it's not quite consistent, otherwise we wouldn't be here on this video. But if that's your average, even if you have a good ROAS on that, of course it cannot be quite consistent with that little data. So think about it. If you just get like 1-2 sales more on 4 to 5 sales, right? If let's say you have a good ROAS on 4 or 5 sales with like your average CPA, your average target ROAS, whatever it is, if they're just like small fluctuations, because of all the other reasons that we have here, right? Demand shifts, not enough winners yet. The structure is not perfectly optimized. If you just get minus plus 1-2 sales, more or less, If you get 2 sales more, you're like, oh, I had a perfect day, right? Like great ROAS, let's scale. If on the other hand, you have a slower day and you get 1, 2 sales less than you usually expect at that level, so let's say instead of 4, 5 sales, you just have like 2 suddenly. 1, 2 sales is not that much, right? It's like one guy that converts here, one guy that abandons the cart there. It's like not that much in absolute numbers. But in relative numbers, that's suddenly minus 50% of your usually revenue, right? At that level. So of course, like it has a huge impact on your ROAS, on your profit margin. So that's why you have these huge spikes. It's like, oh shit, that day was shit, right? Like didn't work, low profits. And then the other day is like great. And you're like, let's scale, right? Like let's increase it. But of course, it's inconsistent if you are at this level, right? Let's take the same scenario and you have 100 to 130 sales on average a day, right? If there's like plus 5, 10, minus 5, 10, also completely normal, but it will not affect you that much because again, in relative numbers and percent, it's not that much and you can deal with it better. Also, you're on a higher level, you have way more data there already, so of course it will be more consistent. Also, I suppose if you're at a higher level, all those other things are more optimized as well. But that's the main thing, right? If you don't have enough data at the smaller level, like a slight difference in absolute numbers means a big difference in relative numbers or in percentage for you, all right? So that's the only thing to consider. It's basically the same thing, like on a higher level, because there you have the fluctuations as well. But on a higher level, you don't see that much because it doesn't affect it that much in percent. Yeah. All right, that's basically it. I hope that video helps and see you in the next one. Bye-bye.